lots of movements outside stocks with a big rip in crypto market. Scott Bauer joins us, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Scott, good afternoon. Bitcoin was kind of the tell last night. This morning we were going to get a risk-on day here, and now we're back above 65. So is this an impressive move to you? What do you think?
It's a big short covering move here, and there's a few things out there for the reason of it. Number one, you've got the continuation of Mount Gox, right? That was that defunct platform from a while ago that held over $9 billion in crypto, it's specifically in Bitcoin, that was supposed to go back to the holders that thought they lost that. Well, about 2/3 of that did. The other third they just announced is being postponed until next October. So that has taken some pressure off of the market that there was going to have to be maybe some liquidations if that other $3 billion worth of tokens was then, flooded out into the marketplace here. So that has really helped this move up here. And it is just a massive, massive shakeout of short positions.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. As we've gotten this trend that's held. If that breaks, then maybe we have a little bit of a different discussion. It seems like things kind of within the down channel could be positioning related. Where do you start to think about a new upcycle or a new trend, Scott? Where's the the entry point if this thing really is going to get out of this now basically 7-month channel to the downside?
So I've got two levels I'm really keeping my eyes on. The first one to the upside is 68,000. That's going to be huge resistance. But if we retreat back at all, Oliver, to about the 64,500 level, that's where there had been major, major resistance that Bitcoin shot through. If it retreats back and it can then hold there, and I'm not just saying hold for an hour, but really put in some nice volume around that level, I would probably look to get long it there. And I have not said for a very long time that I wanted to get long Bitcoin.
Yeah, true. Then how do you think about kind of the holding period then, Scott? What's possible in terms of price action? I know that, when you start making highs, which, we basically have to reserve till 74, 75,000.
Yep.
But if we start to get there, you're going to hear all the projections come in. What would be reasonable? What's unreasonable to you?
Well, I think Michael Saylor said today $1 million in 2025, right? So
there you go.
That is definitely unreasonable. If we do get back to those old highs, 72.5, 74 or so, when you look at charts and everything, since there's, rarefied air above that, there's no resistance. You kind of extrapolate things out and you look at 80,000 really is the next level. Now, I'm not, putting a lot of stock in that quite yet here. I am not in the complete bullish camp at all. My narrative hasn't changed, but from a technical standpoint, if we do retreat back and we can see, some nice support back at 64.5, I'm in.
How about Ethereum? Such a different situation. Maybe more so than ever, just disconnected chart-wise. It's like a totally different combo.
Big disconnect. It's almost the forgotten child, and it has been ever since the ETFs came out. There was all the uncertainty ahead of time and all the anxiety ahead of time. This was going to be the end all be all, the next best thing. And nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but like you said, that disconnect is probably wider than ever.
Is it tradable, or does that just mean you go to Bitcoin for any crypto action right now?
No, I think it is tradable. I mean, obviously, you're looking at something that's a $2,500 asset versus 65,000, but it definitely is tradable. But you're not seeing as much of the volatility, and I also don't really see, from a technical standpoint, as big of outliers out there, or as big of indicators out there that tell me, okay, if it gets down to 2,200. That's a buy area. If it gets up to 27, that's a sell area. So I think you have to be a little bit more careful with it.
Okay, noted. ETH right now trading 26.30. Amazing how different these charts have been looking. All of it happening, of course, the stocks have already been at highs, but also it all happening when yields are moving up.
Dollar.
Yeah, dollar firming up. How do we fit those things together, Scott?
I mean, you go back in time, and it certainly is not the narrative, right? The strong dollar and yields going up has certainly not been a bullish thing for Bitcoin. And I think what this just goes to show you is this year, Oliver, across all markets, equity markets, debt markets, whatever it is, has been a year of, I don't want to say aberrations, but things that we really haven't seen, right? The patterns that we haven't seen in the past. And there's no way we would have thought that we would have gotten this Bitcoin rally, seeing the dollar with a massive rally. It was just what, 2-3 weeks ago, the dollar was fighting for 100, and now we're at 103 here. Yields, the 10-year was at 360, and now we're, people are talking about 4.25, 4.5, and yet here we are, risk on. I mean, what a divergence from where we've been.
Yeah, totally. All right, dollar ripping 103, and yields too. Fed commentary didn't seem too notable either. So perhaps
no, not at all.
Market just got too extreme and looking for cuts.
I guess so. I mean, I'm still looking for this rally in bonds, in yields, I should say, to kind of come to a screeching halt. I think the sell-off price-wise in bonds has been way too sharp, too quickly. So I would look for that to moderate a little bit here. But yeah, the Fed speak we're seeing now is really on the moderate side of things here, and that's what the market is taking into account right now. But it's still unbelievable to me to see the rally in rates, to see the dollar strengthen, and we're at all-time highs.
Yeah, it's a nice little change of pace here.
It really is.
Normalization to some extent. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate the analysis. Good stuff.